G'day, Ronnie Dale for Wheeling Australia. Welcome to Modified. Not sure what episode number this is, but it's getting up there. This is a Discovery 1, believe it or not. Finally on Modified. Josh, how are you, mate?
Good, thanks.
Nice and cold.
Yeah, it is.
I left my jumper at home. Got like 3 shirts on here.
Yeah.
Discovery 1, mate.
Yeah.
Finally. I know you've been waiting for one on the show, but then you had to bring yours onto the show.
Yeah, I didn't know it would be mine on the show.
Yeah. Do you want to tell us about the engine size and all that? Because I don't know too much about these ones.
Yeah, so it's a 1996 Land Rover Discovery. It's got the 2.5 litre 300 TDI engine, diesel, or turbo diesel. It's a 5-speed manual gearbox, live axles, permanent all-wheel drive with a centre locking diff. Set up for touring with a bit of forward driving in between. I like to do a bit of both.
Yeah, I see you just got new tyres, so you just tested them out the other day, you were saying. And how long you had this car for?
I've had the car for just over 2 years, I think. Yeah, it's a second Discovery I've had. I had a V8 Discovery 1 as well before this.
Ah, okay. Yeah. Well, that's pretty cool. We'll ask you some comparison questions a bit later on then. I think we'll get straight into it, eh?
Yeah.
Bar work, bash plates, all that stuff. What have we got on here?
This is an ARB Deluxe winch bar.
Quite different to your average bull bar. All these little bits that come out and...
Yeah, I think these are for mounting a like when you got steel cable. So those are for mounting the rollers.
Oh, so they're further out, right? Okay.
Yeah, but obviously I've just got the fair lead rope cable.
What size winch you got in there?
12,000 pound winch.
Particular brand?
It's a Ridge Rider Super Cheap Auto.
Okay, you have used it, I can tell.
Yeah, I use it quite a lot. When I had the smaller tyres, I needed to use it to get up some tracks where I didn't have clearance.
So you're one of the honest blokes, you've used it for yourself?
Yeah, I use it all the time.
Everyone else says they use it for someone else's car. We all know that's not true.
I figure if you've got it, you might as well use it.
That's it, that's what it's there for. What is with this? Is it got something to do with your winch?
Yeah, it's for a custom go-kart roof loader system that I built.
So that tells me you run the winch cable through here. These are like location sections, right? And then what, over the roof rack?
Yeah, so I've got a different roof rack that I made myself with rollers on it. And it goes over the back onto a sled and then pulls the sled up onto the roof with the go-kart.
So you got a big ramp, have you?
Yeah, basically.
Interesting.
Yeah, so the go-kart gets strapped onto the sled and then the sled gets pulled up.
Nice. I'll ask you about the go-kart a bit more in Q&A.
Yeah.
So this bull bar isn't black and it's not colour-coded to the blue. So has this been painted later or?
It was looking pretty rough. I got this actually off another car, so it's pretty beaten up before I got it.
Oh, so it's second-handy?
Yeah, yeah. So originally I was trying to paint it black again, but I chose the wrong colour. And then to mask that, I just went with a hammer tone finish, which actually covers up the scratches and looks quite good.
I reckon it colour suits it, yeah.
Yeah.
And ties in with the grey trim.
And any faded black plastics, it blends in with that as well.
No bash plates under, but you got this massive bar come across. Is that from the chassis?
Yeah, that comes off the chassis. That's the factory steering guard. I did have a...
That's pretty serious, isn't it?
Yeah, I had a bash plate fitted on there. When I went with the bigger lift, it was fouling with the steering arms, or the panhard.
Took it off instead.
And I figured it's high enough up now that it doesn't really need it.
I don't see why you would need anything here, hey?
Yeah.
It's not pretty high. You don't have side steps and you don't have rock sliders. Now, a lot of people think you have to have them. You don't really have to have them if you drive it carefully, because I can see you got no dents in the sill.
It's just one of those things. I saw a set come up on Gumtree once, but I let them go past because I haven't hit anything yet. Just driving carefully, watching out for rocks.
Most of your stuff's touring, but you do come to the powerline track and things like that.
Yeah, I don't
you don't do anything
typically
stupid.
shy away from stupid tracks, but
yeah,
you know, I've had this up some pretty hairy tracks. But most of the time, if I get in that situation, I'll pull the winch out and just slowly get the car over obstacles rather than bouncing it around. And
we're on the back now of this Discovery 1, and something I didn't know about, something that I'm pretty impressed by, is what looks like a plastic bumper is actually metal or steel.
I haven't looked at getting a steel rear bar because this one's still holding up.
You probably wouldn't even bother looking.
No,
Oh, would you?
not for the extra weight that it'll take.
If you do have a Discovery 1 and you go a rear bar, you're really just doing it to hold the extra fuel.
Yeah.
Or 2 tyres or something. So it's
Yeah.
not really worth doing, is it?
No, not really.
Roof rack, Josh.
Yeah.
So you got 2 roof racks, you're saying, one for your go-kart and then this one. So do you have to remove the frame and everything to change them?
Yeah, so this one just comes off with 6 bolts off of the bars. It's an alloy bar on steel rails. Yeah, an alloy basket.
So you are pretty high too, aren't you? Do you know your vehicle height?
It was 2.2 meters at the basket, but now...
Oh, here?
Yeah.
Oh, is that all?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. Pretty sure I get under 2.2, but now with the bigger tyres, probably a bit more than that.
Oh, yeah. When was the last time you had McDonald's? Drive-through.
It was a while ago, but it fits.
This awning's quite big, isn't it?
270-degree awning. So it's actually square on one side.
Aussie 4x4.
Yeah, they're a local shop in Perth.
Okay, I've never actually seen this brand before. So we have the original Max Tracks down here.
Yeah.
And then we have the treads up here.
Yeah.
Tell me the story about the breakage here.
Well, I had the treads first when I first got into the full driving because they were the cheaper option, obviously. I got stuck in the mud in Julimar. I didn't have a winch. I had a shovel and I had these. So with a bit of digging and then these, eventually got the car out, except they cracked the first time I used them. And then I've used them again since that, sort of as sacrificial, and they cracked a bit more.
They'll still work.
Yeah, so that's why.
But you do have the cable tie on.
Yeah, I cable tied one of them, and then this one cracked as well.
Yeah.
So.
If you chose again, I can see you bought the Max Tracks now.
Yeah, I bought the Max Tracks when they were on sale, and they've still got the cable ties on them.
These are brand new tyres.
Yeah,
more or less.
They're a few days old.
What do you have on before?
Bridgestone Jewelers 245 70/16s, which is about a 29.5 inch.
Smaller than these.
Yeah, about 2 inches smaller. So, but they're an all-terrain. My intention was to have these for winter, for playing around in the mud, and then switch back to the other ones because it's geared a bit better to run the smaller tyre.
So how's it run with a bigger tyre? Does it feel a bit sluggish, or?
It's a little more sluggish, but it still has plenty of
still plenty
get
of
up
power.
and go. Yeah.
Well, I can't ask you too much about these because you just got them on.
Yeah.
But your previous tyres, so how do you rate those?
They're fantastic, I think. Apart from slippery mud, which an all-terrain's never going to do well in. They're great on the sand, great over rocks. I normally just let all the air out of them, and then it goes anywhere. So
what PSI would you run on those other ones?
If I'm on the beach on sand, I'm normally down around like 12 PSI.
Okay, right down.
Yeah, because it doesn't have a lot of power, so running low PSI, it just sort of floats over everything. It's a lot less load on the car.
Suspension-wise, what have we got on?
Terra Firma 2-inch lift. They're heavy-duty coils, 300 kilos constant load on the back, about 100 kilos constant on the front, which makes up for the bar and the winch.
Shocks?
They're nitrogen-filled, non-adjustable sports shocks, what they're sold as, and they're 2-inch longer travel than stock.
You were mentioning earlier about something, you got a spring retainer in the rear?
I had to add some retention for the springs because with the 2-inch longer shocks on full flex, the springs were dropping out of the top mounts.
Yeah, okay.
Not ideal when you're on a track. It hasn't been a problem since.
Lights and comms now. As you can see, there is no antenna. We'll get to that in a second. There's a pretty cool hack going on here.
Light bar on the front. It's got the dual spread and spotlight.
How does it go?
It's really good. Lights up the whole sides of the road. I do a lot of nighttime driving on the highway, like Great Northern and stuff.
Have you upgraded these globes at all?
I've got some brighter than factory globes in these, so the high beams and this is
adequate.
Is adequate, yeah. I have had spotlights on before, but I found that I don't think they were very good spotlights.
Lights on the side of the vehicle. I've noticed on the roof rack you've got 2 on each side, is it 2?
Yeah, 2 on each side.
They light straight down?
No, I can swivel them around and angle them face them whichever way I want. Yeah, when I have the awning set up, I'll face them up because it gives a
Spreads
nice,
the light.
you know, warm spread of light. Nice, you know, ambience for the camp.
Now let's talk about your communication. So there's no antenna here. There's no antenna on the back. No antenna on the roof. What's the go, mate?
Well, when I first started in full driving, I needed a radio, so I just went to the shops and bought the cheapest set of handhelds I could.
Yep. Which is the best way of doing it?
So I started off with...
When you're starting out?
Yeah, with just a Uniden handheld radio. They take...
Are these 1 watters?
I think they're half watt, probably. They take 3 AAAs. So these were fine until I had to start buying batteries. And you know, once you've had them running for a day, they've used the batteries up. So I modified one of them with an old car charger. So it's no batteries anymore.
That's such a cool idea.
For the way that I use the radios, most of it's quite close, so the range doesn't really matter.
So you find in hilly areas this is fine. There you go, guys. There's no excuse not to have a radio in your vehicle now. That is a genius hack. I love it. So this is just glue, yeah?
Yeah, the glue is just to hold the cable in place, but it's soldered into the radio.
Awesome. Awesome hack, mate.
And the Velcro, so it just sticks on the dash mat.
On the dash carpet. Yep. Cool. I love it. You just have to get the volts right, yeah?
Yeah, any 5-volt charger. So everyone's got old car adapters for everything.
Power plant time? Well, for us it's a hand warmer.
It is a bit like that this morning, isn't it?
Yeah. I've got the gloves going because I've got nothing on my arms. Oh, that's nice. Just remind us about the engine again.
2.5 litre turbo diesel, or the 300 TDI engine.
What's your fuel economy?
Usually I get about, on my old tyres, the smaller ones, I was getting about 11 to 12 litres per 100. That's highway driving, 110 city driving.
That's not
all
bad.
Combined, yeah. Yeah, so they're pretty efficient, but obviously you don't have a lot of power. So, you know, it's backing off from 110 to 90, but
Yeah, okay.
you know, it doesn't use much fuel, so.
You have an EGT gauge inside?
Yeah, I've got an EGT.
What are you running on the highway and what are you running up a hill?
On the highway, it's probably 350 to 450. Up hills, it gets up there, you know, 550. But I just adjust my driving to keep it down.
And that's why we have an EGT gauge, so we can adjust our driving. Because
Yeah.
if you don't know, you're just going to keep pushing.
Especially on these engines, because they're a little underpowered and the car's pretty heavy with all the gear in it.
So
It's one of the best things I've done, I think, especially on the beach. Temperatures do get right up.
A lot of people aren't aware of that. Air filtration. Have a snorkel here. These don't come standard with snorkels.
No, they don't come standard. So I bought that off eBay. It's one of the cheaper ones. They're just a copy of the Safari snorkel. It's the same design.
Inside here, paper filter.
Yeah, paper filter.
Just the standard Land Rover.
Standard, yeah.
Let's go to your electrical system.
Yeah.
Which one's the factory?
This is the factory battery.
So what does the factory battery power?
It powers the winch. It powers the isolator for that one. And there's a feed that runs to the rear of the car to power the onboard air compressor and some other electrics in the back.
Well, I can see you got a decent cable going back there too.
So I've got this and then a 250 amp breaker.
So isolating this battery here, which is the auxiliary battery, is a Ridge Rider isolator.
It's a voltage sensing relay, so once this battery gets below 12.7, it'll disconnect the batteries.
Okay.
And then you've also got the switch, which lets you crank off both batteries.
Ah, so yeah, you've got that done then.
Yeah.
So you can jumpstart your car.
So that saved me a lot.
This powers to the rear as well, I take it?
No, not anymore. I did have it set up to run the fridge when I first installed it. The fridge is off a third battery.
Oh, there's another battery.
There's another battery.
Cool. So these are both cranking?
No, so that one is basically just there to run lights. A second fuel filter in here, which is, it's like a water separator fuel filter. And an aftermarket cruise control. This came factory with cruise control, so when they get old they just break. But this is great.
To the rear of the vehicle now. Before we open it up, what have we got on the outside here?
We've got a filtered water outlet.
A filtered water outlet.
Yeah, so this one's it runs off tanks on the inside with a pressure pump.
And then goes through a filter.
Yeah, and then it goes through a filter which is mounted up underneath the car there.
Could you roll up to a lake or running water
Yeah.
and then pour it straight in and then be safe to drink?
Yeah, if it was a freshwater lake, I think you wouldn't have any problem. I can actually disconnect the line, and then I could pump water into my tanks through the filter as well if I wanted to.
Yeah, cool. And then that way you keep the tank clean as well.
Yeah, so you don't.
Yeah, that's a cool idea. Air hose?
Yeah, compressed air. There's another water outlet here which is not filtered, so use that.
Showers?
Yeah, for showers and for hosing down the car, getting mud out of the brakes and whatnot.
Oh, okay, yep. Before you hit the highway or whatever?
If I get it really muddy, I like to clean it off on the track rather than take the mud home with me.
Yeah, in the driveway.
Yeah, so that actually works out really well.
Got two different trailer plugs there.
So we've got the trailer
trailer plug.
Anderson,
Oh, two Andersons.
and this is a solar inlet.
Solar inlet.
Yeah,
Cool. So there's some stuff going on inside.
there's quite a lot, yeah.
And decent recovery point, which is good to see.
Yeah.
Let's open it up, eh?
Yeah.
We're now going to go through the inside of the vehicle, and excuse this camera here, I just want to make sure we get absolutely everything so you guys get some good ideas here.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about. DIY. I
Yeah.
love DIY.
I wanted to have a lot of things, and it was going to cost a lot of money if I got someone to do it for me. So
Yes.
yeah, so I'm pretty handy with, putting things together. Most of the materials that I use to build this are actually recycled as well. I got most of it people's kitchens from Birch Collection.
Oh, yeah?
So yeah.
You're that guy who comes and picks up the stuff.
Yeah, that's me.
Is that a swag?
No, this is a self-inflating mattress.
Yeah, I was going to say, because it doesn't look like a swag.
Yeah, it's actually set up to sleep inside the car. So when I go
Right.
camping.
So you push the seats forward then?
I put the seats forward, that flap drops down, and then the fridge comes out of the car on a stand. We sleep inside the car.
Let's go to the kitchen.
Yeah, so the kitchen, stocked with food. Kitchen, it pulls out once, just for a kitchen bench, and then pulls out again, and this is where I'll
Oh, nice.
that's where I'll put my stove. So I set the stove up on there, and that's plenty strong enough just for the cooking. I got two drawers. These are on push to close drawer runners.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so
So when you're on the rough tracks, you haven't had it sort of open up on you?
well, because it's
Oh,
all
I see.
enclosed in the frame, it doesn't matter.
Can't open it.
So it's more a convenience thing, just being able to.
That's so cool, eh?
Yeah, so these are all just from Bunnings, the drawer runners.
That's cool. Reminds me of IKEA.
Yeah, there's the pantry section. I actually store quite a lot of stuff in there. And we've got lighting in there as well.
Oh, wow.
So it gets a bit dark at night, so you can see everything.
Up here you do food prep.
Yeah,
Down here
so
you do
food
cook.
prep here, and then cooking on the stove, but I normally will just pull up, have it set up.
Cool.
Set up like this. It's real quick to pull it out, pack it up. So for making like a sandwich on the side of the road, you just open up the fridge, get whatever I want, and then I've made the sandwich and we're on our way again.
The fridge is fixed in one spot, yeah?
No, so I take the fridge out.
Oh, you can just pull it out.
Yeah, so it just pulls straight out. And I set that up on a stand at the side of
Oh,
the
that's
car.
what it stands for. Josh has just put everything away again, and he's just going to show us how quick he can set up.
Yeah.
Go for it, mate. Oh, I see what's going on. And then that fits on.
Yeah.
And then you can put the seats forward,
Yeah. So
mattress
then,
out.
basically, if we were pulled up at camp where we were going to park, we'd pull the seats forward as soon as we got out, and then come back here. Then normally take the fridge out, roll the bed out, and then set the kitchen up. Yeah.
One question. If it's raining, oh,
Yeah.
you got the awning to protect the fridge anyway.
Yeah.
Done.
But if I don't have the awning set up, I'd shove the fridge under the back.
car. Brilliant.
But it's fine in the weather anyway. I've had it like when it's sprinkling. If it was really heavy, I can sleep on top of the fridge if I have to. I've done.
Oh,
yeah.
Yep.
Because it's pretty
You
level.
got the mattress anyway, and yeah. You got a water tank here.
Yeah.
And we got a water tank over here. So that is the filtered one.
Independent tanks, but they're both connected to the pump, so I can isolate.
Oh.
Yeah. So I can isolate both sides. So normally I run one tank until it's empty, and then I'll switch over and run the other tank, just so that you always know how much water you've got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. Josh just moved a cover.
Yeah.
So we can have a look. And oh yeah, so there's all your fuses, air compressor,
Yeah.
and all the water hose connections.
So this tank is removable, and this tank is fixed. So basically when I want to remove this, if I had to in an emergency, or one of the tanks is removable, so in an emergency if I had to take the water with me, I would just close the valve, unplug it, take the strap out, and then the tank just lifts straight out. But this one is fixed and just permanently plumbed in.
Okay. So that one there is the one you can take out and fill up at a river or something.
If I had to.
Discovery 1 has so much roof space. Actually laying on your bed, you've actually got a decent amount of...
Yeah, so we lay with our heads at the door end of the car, and yeah, you've got plenty of headspace. You can just about sit up a bit, or you can plenty of space to move around and crawl around in there.
Switchboard?
All the things off the rear battery. So we've got lights, light strips on the inside, a red light and a white light. So one for bugs, and that lights up the entire inside of the car at night time.
Cool.
That's pretty good. One of them's just a voltmeter for the rear battery, and then you've got water and air.
Then you got your compressor and,
Yeah.
and water on it. Cool setup, man. Charging unit, the projector?
Yeah, the projector, it's a 25 amp DC-DC charger. It's a 3-stage charger, and it has a solar input.
The battery's on here?
Yeah. So there's a 130 amp hour AGM battery down in that corner. Down the sides there's a few spares and other miscellaneous items.
Really good place for a fire extinguisher, basically.
When you have the stove there, it's directly above the stove,
Yeah.
so if you're going to make a fire somewhere, it's going to be while you're cooking.
Just hope the flames aren't so high you can't get to it.
Yeah, I suppose so. We've also got lights on here.
Oh, what kind of lights are they?
They're like Eagle Eye, I think is what they're called if you're buying them. But basically
You've drilled and inserted them?
Yeah, so the good thing about them is that they've got a lens on them so that you can look at them
they're not blinding you.
horizontally, and they don't blind you, but they put out a massive amount of light downwards.
Eagle Eye.
Yeah.
Interior time. I'm still getting used to your door handles, eh? That opens sideways. Right. So here we are. You've done a bit to the dash here, I can see.
Yeah. I've designed and had this laser cut out of MDF. It's basically the dash was cracked all up here, and
Oh, so you covered it as well.
yeah, so I wanted lots of switches because everyone likes switches. But I didn't want to go with the sort of your conventional switch, just because they cost so much. So by the time you've got 8 switches, it's quite a lot of money. I've got the voltmeters, so we've got the main battery and the second battery. We've got the EGT gauge.
Oh, cool.
There. And then we've got the left and the right side lights, and this one does the light bar, but that only comes on with high beams.
Okay.
And these switches aren't populated yet. Got cruise control. That one does that.
So that's just a portable speaker?
Yeah.
Bluetooth one, yep.
Yeah, Bluetooth speaker. We've got a boost gauge on this side, which is, you can see it quite easily. RAM mount,
Yep.
phone mount.
I keep seeing those. I've got to get one.
Yeah, very new addition. I had a cheaper one before, and it just fell apart.
Kept falling off? Yeah.
Yeah, either falling off or it finally just fell apart.
I'm running a cheap one at the moment. I've got to constantly tighten it, you know. And in the back, is that a fishing tackle box?
No, that's all my recovery gear.
Oh.
So snatch strap, bridle strap, shackles, everything fits in there.
So you got a bag, got 2 chairs.
And a table.
Oh, and a table. Okay.
Yeah, it's folding up.
Are those Bunnings chairs?
Yeah, $6 a pop.
That's it, mate. That's the way I used to roll. Do you find them comfortable enough?
Yeah. We're only camping normally for a weekend. You're only sitting down for, a few,
Yeah, so sit around a fire.
few hours. Yeah.
Couple of beers will numb the
Yeah.
uncomfortableness anyway.
So if I'm going fishing, I'll strap the fishing rods up onto here.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, onto the handholds.
Yep.
So I can fit my fishing rods in, and then I'll have another bag with all the fishing gear in it.
Q&A. We're both battling a bit of a head cold. So I'm on the soda water today. Finally got a Discovery on, eh?
Yeah.
First question will be, what is your top tip for storing things in a wagon?
Use every bit of space you can. Figure out what you need to store, and then start planning.
So I just thought I'd ask that because using every single nook there is, you're using underneath the seats, using everywhere.
Figure out what year you've got, how much space you've got. Obviously not everyone wants to remove their back seats and build a,
No, well that's it, because you've actually removed your back seats, haven't you? I just bought one of these, Discovery 1. What's the first thing I do to it?
Add some lights. You can't go wrong with lights. Whether you're on the beach and you need to let your tyres down at night time, if you've got lights on the sides, it's no drama. You don't need to worry about a headlamp. I always see people's camp, at even a caravan park, and they're all headlamps trying to cook their dinner.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make sense to not have lights on your car.
That's a good point. Like just some easy lights to install somewhere. You do have a lot of strategically clever sort of setup lights. You got that one that's inside the drawer, just enough power.
Yeah.
You got the ones on the outside that don't blind you while you're cooking.
Yeah.
Actually, you got a lot of good lights set up. Yeah.
Yeah, and I have one more, which is the same as these, but it's just magnetic, so I can stick it anywhere on the roof.
Top 3 mods you've done to this vehicle?
The winch, I think that was a good one.
Mm-hmm.
The lights, suspension rated to the weight
that
you're carrying.
So you picked those 3 over your setup in the back?
I forgot about the setup in the back. But I mean, before I had the setup, we just camped with a tent and everything. So I think being able to get where you're going, it doesn't matter what setup you've got.
Best thing about the Discovery 1 and worst thing?
Best thing is probably being a coil sprung front and rear, I think, with a center locking diff and basically the drivetrain, I think. They're pretty capable from stock. They'll get you to most places and back. You can get through most tracks, I think. The worst thing is probably the noise and vibration, the rattles inside while you're driving, but it's just what you put up with, I think.
Because of the age of the vehicle too, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's an old car, it's a diesel.
Yeah.
They rattle, they vibrate.
You've had the V8 petrol.
Yeah.
And now you've got the diesel.
Yeah.
Of the Discovery 1.
Yeah.
Which do you prefer?
The diesel. The reason I bought the first one is because it was $2,000 for a four-wheel drive, and that was my first four-wheel drive. So, and it was great. I went on a road trip with it with 4 friends, but it used about 20 to 25 litres per 100 k's. This thing using, exactly half the fuel to get to the same places, and do everything
So you doubled your range and halved your cost,
Yeah, well,
pretty much. What's the inspiration for this build? What inspired you to build the second one?
well, I just really liked going out camping. Most of my travelling was in the southwest, and most of it is over 3-day weekends or leave on a Friday night, come back on Sunday. So I needed something that was quick and easy. That's why I wanted to have a kitchen that pulled out, so I don't have to set up a table and then set everything up and then pack it all away. It's all contained in the unit.
What would be your top advice for DIY mods?
I saved money by finding all the materials, but you lose a lot of time. So if you don't have time, just go and buy the material.
So for other people out there who are looking at it and thinking, I'm not too good with wood, have you got any woodwork experience, or you just got into it? And
Well, just in high school. Like, none of this is fancy. It's all just screws and.
But it works.
Yeah, but it works. That's why I didn't bother carpeting anything, or
Yeah.
a lot of people want to put carpet on everything and have your regular switches.
You always could put carpet on it if you
I
wanted
could,
to.
but I didn't see that it was
Necessary.
necessary. I think that's the theme of the build, is doing things that work.
Thanks for bringing a Discovery 1 on, mate.
No worries.
Now, Josh has a few friends. One of them drives a Discovery 2, so we're going to have a look at that one. I can already see all the comments. Get the Discovery 2 on. Yeah.
They love it.
They've been screaming for one of these for a long time. You're probably one of them too, eh?
Yeah, well, you kept putting all these Defenders up.
Yeah, where's the bloody Discoveries? Well,
Yeah.
Here you go. There's one. We'll get another one.
There's a few of them out there in Perth, so.
Yeah, but it's hard to get hold of.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you everyone for watching. Put some questions down below. You're going to jump on and answer a few questions?
I'll answer questions.
Yeah, sweet. There you go. Josh will be on there himself. You can subscribe down here, and you can support the creation of content like this at patreon.com/Ronnie Dahl. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Hey, and there's another Land Rover video down there. Cheers. Oh, let's get back on the soda water, eh?